Welcome viewers, we're out of Jimi's today doing a bit of shooting with Greg, filming. I've got a quick one here just on cam, timing and synchronizing. I did mention it doing Greg's new strings and cables. I thought I'd do a specific video on it. It's not a real long one, it's mostly something that most of you guys are probably already aware of, but there might be something there that you didn't know. There's probably something there I don't know either, but I just put it out there to give you a bit of information, particularly you new viewers that are new to the sport. It's a hell of a lot of technical stuff involved in this sport, and it does possess you. You tend to overthink things, I know I do, but you've got to eliminate all factors so that you're happy with what you're shooting. Now, the first thing with your cams, there's two aspects of your cam positions. I like to call the position of your cam at rest the timing of the cam, and when you draw back, obviously the cams need to roll over and stop at the same point, and I refer to that as the synchronizing. Now, I understand why you could call that the timing. It's just the way I try to define the two different aspects of the cam positions. Now, the timing of the cam, this rest position, is very important because you have to have the cam at what manufacturer's specs say, so that you get the full effect of the cam, the full effect of the lobe, and the full performance of the arrow off the string. When you set your draw length up, obviously you use your modules to get it as close as you possibly can, and then you can fine tune it with your strings. You shorten your string, you shorten your draw, lengthen your string, lengthen your draw, and you know the routine with that. But you need to be careful not to pull the cam too far off its position where it's supposed to be. I'm talking to Jimi, the Mathews I believe have got it. My Bowtech Fanatic actually had marks on the inside of the cam here, 2 dots. The idea with them was to tell you where the cable should run, and that's the timing position is correct as per their specs or what they want you to do with it. Now, what does happen with bows sometimes, I'll show you another bow here. That it's actually an old bow of mine that my son-in-law is now shooting. This is an Old Glory. This is probably a Bowtech Old Glory. Probably one of the starting bows of the parallel limb system. They sort of kept the normal reflex limb position, limb length, which gave them near parallel, but created quite a big brace height with this particular model bow. They do shoot very nice, but my son-in-law's been shooting this. We've got it set at its shortest draw, but it was still a bit too long. So what I've done, I actually wound some twists into the main string, and as you can see, that cam position to me is not where I'd like it. That cam position to me should probably be about there. That way you're getting the full effect of the cam, and it does quieten the bow down because you don't have this little gap here in the rails that the string will slap around in. I'm actually going to make a new string for this bow for Adam because he's now gotten used to the draw and he does need it a little bit longer. So I might do a video on actually the whole routine of making a main string for this particular bow. So like I say, the timing is important. That you can see is not 100%. I'd prefer it to be about there, but we're going to deal with that with a longer string. The longer string will then allow the cam to rotate a little bit more. We can shorten the cables up to get the same result. Shortening the cables lengthens the draw, and it also changes that cam position. But you've got to be careful not to put too many twists in your cables. The problem here is if the more you got in them, the more a twist the difference it makes. I had problems with my OK, that I had to shorten the cables up to give me a bit more poundage on it, to get me 54 pound because I got a short draw. And what happened then, I had too many twists in the cables. So to get me cam synchronizing correct, half a twist was too much. So then I had to make shorter cables to get the end result. Now, that's the timing issue. Now the synchronizing goes without saying. What it means is when you draw the bow back, you want both those cams to stop in exactly the same place. The synchronizing is very, very important. When you're shooting your bow over a period of time, it's worth checking it regularly, because I can tell you now, it's one of those things that goes out of whack, very, very small amounts each time. So what happens then, you don't notice that you're losing the stop on your limbs until you check your synchronizing and you go, okay, and we know how to set the synchronizing up. You just, if your cam's rolling over, it needs to roll a little bit more. You need to shorten that cable to let the cam work more, or lengthen the other one. Now, it's important to keep an eye on this because you need both your cams rotating in the same time, exactly the same time. Otherwise, that can actually affect the way your knocking point comes down to rest. If you've got one cam rotating is slightly different the other, plus it doesn't give you that solid stop. So keep an eye on your cam synchronizing, check it regularly. You won't notice it going out, but when you do find it and you set it back up, you'll draw your bow back and you'll feel that stop will come back again. All right? And cut. Where's our director gone? That's all right, I'll get straight into the next one.
Yeah. What is the next one?
Tiller.
Tiller.
Tiller, very controversial, tiller.
T for tiller.
Can you chuck me an arrow, Greg?
Really?
Yeah, literally.
You know what happens to magpies?
I better get my side out of the way because I'm going to stand on it.
Boy, that's hot in the sun.
Yeah.
Look at that.